So F1 at 2020 is finally here, and we are starting off on this channel by doing a bit of a car comparison around the circuit which hosted yesterday's F1 race at the Red Bull Ring. Massive thank you to Codemasters for sending me the game early, and if you do want more on this channel from the F1 2020 game, if you could leave a like down below and subscribe for more content, that would be much appreciated. Now, the aim of this video is to compare the pace of each car from their overall lap time to their top speed and cornering speeds, but also give you guys an idea of what the T-cams are looking like on this year's game. Hopefully that will help you decide your career mode team, or maybe the car that you'd want to use in your league races. So we're going to be going in reverse championship order from the 2019 season, which means, of course, we're starting with Williams. And as you can see, they've got the new livery already in the game with the We Racers 1 multicoloured stripes on the front, and it's a really nice looking T-cam. I'm a massive fan of it. But now we're riding on board for our lap in the Williams, and as you'd expect, it's pretty slow. So in a straight line, as you can see through the speed trap, only 196 miles an hour, which was the slowest. But I think on the whole, the car itself isn't too bad, or it doesn't feel terrible. It's not like really unresponsive. Not great on traction, but sort of generally, it just doesn't feel as quick, doesn't feel as planted as the other cars. And yeah, as we come through the middle sector here, I'll leave you on board for a little bit for the Mercedes engine noise. So as we come now to the final couple of corners, you can see through the cornering speeds as well, it's a lot slower. And we have to turn in really, really early. And rather unsurprisingly, the Williams comes out as the slowest car. Next up then, we move on to the Haas, which has had quite an overhaul in terms of the livery. Looks a lot more similar to the pre-2019 cars. Obviously Haas going back to their original livery and ditching Williams' story and his rich energy cronies. But yeah, the Haas car felt actually quite a lot less responsive than the Williams, which I was a little bit surprised at. But obviously it's got the Ferrari engine in it, and as we come up the hill and to the speed trap, I was quite surprised that it was only 1 mile an hour quicker than the Mercedes engined Williams car, and it was only 9th quickest overall. But yeah, just generally a little bit of a sluggish car to drive, so bear that in mind if you're going on career mode. And there you can see a massive lockup because it's just so difficult to get it turned in. But yeah, as we did with the Williams, I'll leave you on board for a little bit for the Ferrari engine sound. So coming to the penultimate corner, the cornering speed of the Haas slightly better than the Williams, but still 9th quickest overall. And yeah, coming across the line for the 9th quickest time. Next up, we have the team that finished in 8th place in 2019, and that is Alfa Romeo. So coming around the final corner now to start this lap, the T-cam, I'm a big fan of actually, Alfa Romeo. They've added a little bit more red on the front of the car, which is good. The Shell sponsorship has been replaced with Orlen, who are of course Robert Kubica's big sponsors. And now as we come up the hill, we see the first sector and the speed trap. So the speed of the Alfa Romeo is actually very, very good, 199 miles an hour, which I believe puts it 4th. So yeah, very, very quick. The Ferrari engine in the Alfa working a lot better than the Haas. And I think if I could have really put a good lap together, this Alfa would have been a lot quicker. But I just found it so difficult to string a full lap together because it is very, very unpredictable. Definitely the most unpredictable car that I drove. So bear that in mind if you're thinking of picking it for career mode. But yeah, I feel like there is a bit of pace in there. It's just quite difficult to unlock. But yeah, as we come through the final corner, the Alfa Romeo 8th fastest overall, which is about as expected. Next up, we have the team that finished in 7th in 2019. It is the pink Mercedes of Racing Point. So now this probably won't come as a surprise, but the Racing Point feels really, really nice. Yeah, a lot more responsive than the cars that we've gone through previously. And yeah, just really, really hooked up through that first corner, which is a very difficult one to get right. And as we come through the speed trap, 199 miles an hour puts that as the 5th quickest car through the speed trap. And now as we come through the DRS zone towards the second one, you can see it coming into turn 4 here. Again, it's just really, really nice through there. Just one smooth movement to the wheel. And yeah, the car just really feels hooked up. And of course, this is a Mercedes engine car, so I'll leave you on board with the engine sounds. So towards the penultimate corner now of what was a very smooth and quick lap for the Racing Point. The T-Cam's changed a little bit from 2019. I'm personally not as big a fan of it, but in terms of the speed, very, very quick. So next up we have Alphatari, the team that finished in 6th position with 2 podiums in the real-life 2019 season, with quite a big overhaul in terms of the livery. I'm a big fan of this T-Cam angle, actually. The colours just seem to work really, really well. And I like the Alphatari logo as well. But of course, it's completely up to you guys as to whether you want to use it in career mode as we now go up the hill towards the end of the first sector. And I was really impressed with the straight line speed of this, 199 making it the same as the Alfa Romeo. Again, a little bit unpredictable like the Alfa Romeo. You may have seen there I locked up into the corner and was a little bit twitchy on traction on the exit. And again, another lock up there, which is, yeah, just what makes this car very difficult to unlock its full potential. So bear that in mind if you're thinking of picking it in career mode. But I'm going to leave you on board now with the Honda engine sounds. So a nice little whistle to the Honda engine. And you can see there's definitely time in those final couple of corners, but yeah, a little bit twitchy on the Alphatari, and that puts it 7th quickest. Now we go on to the team that finished in 5th position in the Constructors in 2019, and that is Renault, who have a very similar looking car this year. The T-Cam pretty much the same, to be honest, as the previous iteration. And as we go through the first corner here, I was really surprised at the turning that this car was offering. Felt really, really stable, and especially on corner exits. But at high speed, it was a little bit unpredictable. But yeah, as we see, going through the speed trap there, it reached 200 miles an hour with a Renault engine, which shows you that the overall straight line speed of the Renault engine is actually really good, meaning that it only really loses compared to like the Ferrari and the Mercedes engines at lower speed on acceleration, which I thought was quite interesting to note. But yeah, we'll now ride on board with the Renault and listen to its engine sound. I'd describe the Renault engine as quite throaty, and again a little bit different to the other ones, but coming through the final corner for the Renault, a relatively decent lap, which puts it 6th quickest. And now the next team is McLaren, of course, a team that went so well around this track in real life yesterday, and of course managed to get that podium with Lando Norris, and they finished in 4th in the Constructors in 2019. And the car was quick on last year's game, and it feels pretty good on this year's one too. In terms of the T-Cam, it's just orange with a little bit of black. I quite like that little black panel actually from the T-Cam. So yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts down below, whether the McLaren's one of your favourite. In terms of overall livery, I really, really like it, and yeah, the T-Cam looks pretty nice. But yeah, as we come through the middle sector here, I was feeling a little bit of understeer with this McLaren car, but it just seemed quick, to be honest. Even though I felt like I could extract a little bit more. As we come through the middle sector here, you'll see on the cornering speed, it was absolutely rapid. In fact, faster than the Ferrari in the corners, which is testament to the aerodynamic performance and just the chassis balance in this McLaren car. and coming around the final corner just slower than the Racing Point, which puts it 5th overall. And now we get to the big guns, starting off with Red Bull. TCAM absolutely filled with sponsors. Tag Heuer, Aston Martin, Mobil 1, Red Bull, Honda, Puma. It's quite cluttered in my opinion, so yeah, I probably wouldn't go for this online, but obviously it's all up to you guys. If you're a big Verstappen fan or Albon fan, then of course you probably want to use it. Again, like the Alphatari, not quite as quick in a straight line as its counterparts, but not terrible for the Honda engine, it has to be said. You saw quite a big lock up there in the at turn 3. But apart from that, it seemed pretty planted in the corners, to be honest, especially at high speed, as you expect with Red Bull. Good aerodynamic performance. And through these corners especially, it was absolutely planted. Could really get on the throttle early on. And I believe was the fastest through that middle sector of any car. Which was, yeah, pretty interesting to note. And of course, through these final couple of corners at high speed, took them pretty well, it has to be said, and yeah, put Red Bull 2nd quickest overall. Now on to the penultimate team, which is Ferrari, who have surprised everyone, I think, or surprised a lot of people at their lack of pace in the real life season. In terms of the TCAM, it's alright. I mean, it's a Ferrari. I'm not a massive fan of the black halo. I think it'd be better if it was red. And quite a few sponsors going on, which can be a little bit distracting as well. But yeah, going up the hill, in terms of engine performance, this Ferrari is incredible. It's not in real life, but in the game it is. Obviously it was last season, so getting up to 200 miles an hour in a straight line, and yeah, just feeling really, really quick. It was the quickest car in the first sector and through the speed trap overall. But yeah, the second sector is really where it loses out to the Mercedes and the Red Bull. And even in Sector 3 as well, it's not particularly quick. You can see just a little bit lazy through the corners, which is something that we saw in real life, to be fair, to Codemasters. And through the cornering, yeah, only 4th quickest, which shows that at high speed, not particularly responsive. But as we come through the final corner, its straight line speed takes it to the 3rd fastest car overall, but slower than Mercedes and Red Bull. And now finally we have the world champions Mercedes. Now as of yet, Codemasters haven't updated it to the black livery, which obviously they're running for the course of this season to tie in with the We Racers 1 movement. So currently it is still a silver arrow, and I love this. I love the look of the silver car, to be honest. I think the black one will look even meaner and even better. And as we come through the first sector, pretty quick, and just generally this car is on rails. The Red Bull felt good, but the Mercedes was just good everywhere. It's like if you put together the straight line speed of the Ferrari and the corner of the Red Bull and the stability of, I don't even know, just something which is absolutely planted, then that's what you get. You get this Mercedes. Yeah, by far the quickest car, it has to be said, on the grid. And as we come through the final couple of corners, you'll see exactly how planted it is. And although it was only a 10th, I think, quicker than the Red Bull, I felt like there was still a lot of performance left on the track. I think it could have, especially in the last couple of corners, got a bit more out of it. But there you can see a 104 dead. So that is the comparison of all the cars. You can see on screen now a ranking of all the vehicles. So yeah, Mercedes the quickest, ahead of Red Bull by just a 10th of a second, with Ferrari very close to Red Bull. Then we've got the group of Racing Point, McLaren and Renault. Racing Point I think definitely felt best out of those three, but McLaren or Renault, I think either of them could have come out ahead in this video. I think Renault could have been quicker if I'd have hooked up the lap a little bit more, but by the same token, I could have gone quicker with McLaren as well. Then we've got Alphatari, who are in a bit of a league of their own, really. Quicker than Alfa Romeo, but quite a bit slower than Renault. And then, of course, we have Alfa Romeo. Again, a little bit in a league of their own, although I felt like I probably could have gone a little bit quicker with them. And then Haas just didn't feel very good at all, but he's still quicker than that Williams. In terms of the speed trap, you can see that it was pretty close all in all between all of the teams, but Ferrari, Mercedes and Renault, the three works teams, came out as the top three, interestingly enough. Then again we've got the Alfa Romeo with the Ferrari engine, followed by the Racing Point with a Mercedes engine, and the McLaren with a Renault engine. So very much mixed up, but you can see the Honda a little bit slower in a straight line, with Alphatari and Red Bull being quite a way down the order. And then finishing off with the cornering speed, Mercedes and Red Bull unsurprisingly come out as the top two, but surprisingly for me, McLaren were the third quickest through the corners, ahead of Ferrari, with Renault coming in fifth place. With Alphatari, of course, they tend to have a decent aerodynamics package. They came out even ahead of Racing Point, who, yeah, surprised me that they were that low down, especially considering that they were the fourth quickest car overall. But yeah, no surprise that Alfa Romeo, Haas and Williams bring up the rear. So thank you guys that have sort of stuck around for this long. It was a little bit of a different video to what I'd imagine other people are putting out at the moment, but I thought it would be a useful video for you guys, sort of trying to use this early access to help everyone. And if you did find this video useful, do leave a like, and if you want to see more F1 2020 coverage, then make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in my next F1 2020 video. Until then, goodbye.